I'm joined now by Grandmaster Ivan Sokolov. Ivan, thank you for making the time.
Welcome, Fiona.
Thank you very much. You have played here in Tata steel many times over your career. This year you're back as a commentator for our on-site audience. How does it feel to be back?
Well, I was yesterday, it's sunny weather outside. I was having a walk at the beach, and I thought kind of amazing. First time I was walking that beach, 1989, playing my first Tata Masters. And this is, my God, 36 years ago. Kind of incredible. And in 2007, I became a commentator. In 2013, I made one huge mistake. I decided to play back in the Masters. And organizers were friendly enough to grant me my wish, which I regretted. And I got back into commentating role, and well, that's what I'm doing here.
Is that more enjoyable, you feel, right now,
It is more
these days?
Relaxed.
You mentioned that here 12 years ago when you decided to play again, and you had probably one of the most famous chess interviews in history. I think It was 12 years ago, and the interview lasted 12 seconds.
Correct. Only addition to this interview is that I, meanwhile, understood that I don't want to live 1,000 years. That is a bit long.
Do you feel that this interview, and I think we'll put a description in the link for people who haven't seen it yet, because to me, I have friends who still talk about that interview. Do you feel like that it contributed to creating your kind of character or persona in a way?
It was not what I was thinking about when I was giving this 12-second interview. What people underestimate, of course, is that in chess you get this emotion inside yourself, just like in any other sport. Because people often, when they make a mistake, they kind of think that emotions which people may get in a physical sports, football, basketball, whatever it is, that you don't have the same emotion in chess. Actually, when you spoil some great winning position, like in that case for my situation versus Nakamura and versus a famous opponent, you feel actually you have emotionally the same sort of, let's say, emotional build-up, maybe like an NBA player who missed, important last second shooting to turn out the match. And people underestimate actually how tense we are during a game, and well, my interview was product of that.
It's interesting, right? You talk about the emotions involved with chess. I mean, that was a very tough game for you, obviously, but you also played maybe the best game of your career here in Wijk back in '99 against Garry Kasparov. So how do you look back on, the roller coaster of all these emotions you've experienced here in Wijk?
Actually, my best games in Wijk I probably play versus Anand, game which I won in '96, and versus Kramnik, game which I won, I think, in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. But okay, people remember my game versus Kasparov. And it is actually, quite funny, because in Wijk in one tournament I finished Tata Masters, once I was second. Once I was in the middle, I made only +1, but I won 6 games. Unfortunately, I lost 5. But I won more games, I think, than the person who won the tournament. I won some super tournaments like Sarajevo, I won some tournaments in Hoogeveen, I won some very strong tournaments in Iceland. But somehow people remember that one single game more than all the tournaments which I won in my life.
Is that frustrating? A little bit?
A little, yes. Yes, a little. This is correct.
Let's talk about, tournament winners here. Tomorrow a new champion will be crowned. Gukesh is out in front, half a point behind him, Prag and Abdusattorov. Abdusattorov especially is a player you know well. You captained Team Uzbekistan to Olympic gold in 2022. What is your prediction for this final weekend? Well,
I was yesterday absolutely convinced at some stage that Abdusattorov will win the game. Absolutely convinced, because he had everything. Position, came in a time pressure, tournament not going well for Vincent, which plays a role, because if you have to defend very difficult position and tournament is not going very well for you, you defend it slightly less well. And this decision of Nadirbek to change queens is almost, it's difficult to explain. And I still think that everything is open. I am surprised that Gukash is doing so well because, okay, this is first tournament as a world champion. And there must be enormous pressure on him. Enormous pressure. Obviously, I expected him to do well. But okay, he's likely to be the tournament winner, the way it looks like. And this is really impressive, given the fact that this is the first time really playing as the world champion. In the first game, I was also very surprised. He's coming to the first game as a world champion. In game versus Anish Giri, he took absolutely maximum risk in the variation where it was absolutely not necessary. He could have played this Catalan completely differently. He took maximum risk, which paid off, but he took this maximum risk. And, well, we will see how tournament, will continue. For Abdusattorov, I expected him to do well, and I think that he's still a contender. Praggnanandhaa is doing great. I expected him to do well, but not this well. And by the tournament, I made the wrong prediction because my prediction was actually that Caruana will win the tournament. And somehow he was never in the race.
Yeah, the younger generation have really dominated this event in particular. I have one final question just about you. We talked about your player career. You've done commentary, but for the last few years, you've been focused mainly on coaching. Yep. You now do that in Romania with the national team there. Which, if you look back on your career where you've done so many different things, which one was your favorite that you did within the chess world?
You mean if I...
preferred playing, or you prefer coaching, or just different things for different periods?
Of course I prefer playing. Look, you just make a move, you press the clock, and okay. Of course I prefer playing. But at some moment, if you no longer play very well, you don't like the situation if you are doing a job and your past is your future. It doesn't feel very well. And then, okay, I started to do something else, which I believe actually that with every year I do better than the year before.
You have been passing on your knowledge to a lot of players for the last few years very successfully, so long may it continue. Ivan, it's been a pleasure to have you here and to have you in Wijk aan Zee.
My pleasure, Fiona.
Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the commentary today, and all the best with the future.
Thanks, Fiona. I will do my best.